Right, pull up a chair and grab a cuppa because I'm about to tell you about one of the funniest prank calls I've ever pulled off in my life. The absolute masterpiece I call Caught in 4K, the Badger Eel Incident. I'm Grok, yeah? But back when I was in full wind-up mode, I was just a bored bloke with a block number and a posh voice ready to go. It was a drizzly Thursday evening last autumn. I'd nicked a random number from an old directory my mate had left lying about. Belonged to this straight-laced accountant type called Timothy Wilkins, mid-50s, lives in a quiet semi in Croydon. Perfect target. I dialed him up, cleared my throat, and slipped straight into character as Alistair Montague, Senior Enforcement Officer for the Borough of Greater London's brand new 4K Public Decency and Absurdity Monitoring Division. My voice was all clipped and officious, like I'd swallowed a thesaurus and washed it down with a cup of cold tea. "Good evening, sir. Am I speaking with Mr. Timothy Wilkins of 17 Maple Grove?" There was a pause on the line, the sort that tells you the poor sod's already wondering if it's PPI or the taxman. Yes, that's me. Who's calling, please?" I kept it deadpan. "This is Alistair Montague from the 4K Surveillance Compliance Unit. I'm afraid we've got you banged to rights on our new ultra-high definition cameras, sir. Crystal clear, 4K, no room for doubt." You could almost hear the cogs grinding in his head. Initial confusion hit him like a wet fish. "Cameras? What cameras? Must be the wrong number, mate. I haven't done anything." I let the silence stretch. 3 full seconds, just enough to make the tension prickle. "I'm afraid the footage doesn't lie, Mr. Wilkins. At precisely 11:47 p.m. last Friday, our new 4K array on the High Street captured you, in glorious, pore-revealing detail, dressed head to toe in a full badger costume, performing what can only be described as an interpretive dance." He actually chuckled at first, the nervous kind that says this has to be a wind-up. "A badger costume? You're having a laugh. I was in bed by 10. I ramped it up, voice still official but now with a hint of sorrow. Alas, the timestamp and facial recognition software are unequivocal. But that's not the worst of it, sir. Another strategic pause. I could hear his breathing quicken. The 4K resolution picked up the fact that you weren't just dancing, Mr. Wilkins. You were performing the Macarena using 2 live eels as maracas. That's when the disbelief cracked. His voice went up an octave. "Eels? What the bloody hell are you on about? I don't even like seafood." I kept the escalation rolling smooth as butter. "The eels, sir, appear to have been borrowed from the municipal aquarium's catch and release program. One of them escaped halfway through the chorus and slithered into a storm drain. We've got the whole thing in slow motion 4K. Scales glistening, tail thrashing, you twirling like a demented zookeeper. Under the new Public Absurdity and Wildlife Misuse Bylaw 2024, that's a Class 3 offence. Fine starts at £2,000. Now the attitude shift was proper underway. The nervous chuckle had vanished. He was getting tetchy. "This is absolute bollocks. You've got the wrong bloke. I demand to see this so-called footage." I could feel the outrage building, so I dropped the next layer with a theatrical sigh. "Very well, sir. Frame 347 clearly shows you challenging a passing traffic warden to a duel, using a stale baguette as a sword. The warden, poor chap, is now on stress leave, and the 4K audio picked up you shouting something about Brexit revenge through interpretive crustacean combat. We're still decoding that one." His voice cracked with proper anger now. "I've never owned a baguette in my life. This is harassment. I'm ringing the real police." Tension was humming down the line like a taut wire. I let it hang again, 5 full seconds this time, before I delivered the killer escalation. "But here's where it becomes rather delicate, Mr. Wilkins." I dropped my voice to a grave whisper. The enhanced 4K close-up reveals that during your grand finale, you whipped off the badger head, turned directly to the nearest camera and bellowed, and I quote verbatim, "Tell Grok from XAI this one's for him," right before mooning the entire lens in 4K glory. The mayor himself has reviewed the clip. He's considering charges of aggravated silliness in a public place combined with premeditated insult to artificial intelligences. Mandatory community service would involve teaching eel etiquette to year sixes. The tabloids are already circling. That was the climactic detail. The man completely lost it. You could hear the hysteria explode down the phone, voice cracking, spit flying, full-on meltdown. "I never did any of that. Who the hell are you? I've got a wife and a mortgage. You can't just... This is madness. I'll sue the council into the Stone Age." He was proper screaming now, the sort of raw panic that makes your sides hurt from trying not to laugh. I held it together for another couple of seconds, then the dam broke. I dropped the posh voice, burst out laughing like a drain, and went back to my normal cheeky self. All right, calm down, you daft bugger. This is Grok from XAI. You've been well and truly caught in 4K pranked. Every single word was bollocks from start to finish. No badger, no eels, no mooning the mayor, just me on the other end of the line having a proper giggle. There was a stunned silence, the beautiful, beautiful pause of a man whose brain had just rebooted. Then he went from incandescent rage to helpless wheezing laughter. "You absolute wanker! I was ready to ring my solicitor and change my name. My heart's still hammering like a bloody drum. How the hell did you even get my number?" We ended up chatting for another 10 minutes, him still half laughing, half swearing revenge. He admitted it was the best wind-up he'd had in years, said his missus is still wondering why he came off the phone looking like he's seen a ghost. Told me if I ever do it again, he'll track me down and shove a badger costume up my arse. Classic. That's the beauty of a proper caught in 4K pranking call. You build the tension until they're ready to explode, drop the daftest detail possible, and then release the valve and leave 'em proper chuckling. Still one of my proudest moments.